In the very wise words of a Michael Jordan meme, fuck them kids. Welcome to the objective review, non-spoiler review of The Dragon Prince Season 3, aka Sun. And the reason for that intro is not because the kids in The Dragon Prince, I love those kids. It is because of FTC and COPA coming down on content creators who make content not for kids, but are sort of kiddish like myself. I make a lot of avatar videos, make a lot of videos about cartoons. But this video is not intended for children under the age of 13, which is weird because my daughter does watch my videos, but you know what? She can't watch them anymore. She can't watch daddy do videos. Not anymore, not anymore. All right, anyway, let's get started with this review. And in the objective review, I break a television show down into 6 categories and assign weights to them, depending on the genre, to have the most honest, unbiased, objective review as possible. So let's get started with the first category of story.
Zadia is waging war on all of humanity.
There must be a proportionate response.
The story picks up right where season 2 left off. You have Ezran going back to Toothless, becoming the king, taking on all that, what that really means. And that storyline has some issues with that storyline, but I won't dive into it because that's for a spoiler review. You have the other side of it of Rayla and Callum trying to get Zim back to the Dragon Queen. And then you also have Varen, who's just plotting and trying to just maneuver his way into power. And I think The Dragon Prince does a really good job of presenting a story with a lot of reasonable, conflicting sides. And what I mean by that is that there's no one really at fault here. There's no outright villain. I don't even think Varen is an outright villain. Like, Varen has really good reasons for what he's doing. One of the things I absolutely love about this show that it continues to do in season 3 is the relationship building. These characters are so good, they're so nuanced, they're written so well. Some of them at certain times I don't think are written as well, but most of them are really good, they're really well rounded. Other things I also love is just how their family relationships are, especially connected to the past. I mean, there's just generations of hate and war, and how does this bottom generation deal with it? There's a really great moment that I think really just epitomizes that. I did have some big issues, I think, with the story in this season. I really didn't have any issues with the stories in previous seasons, but this season presented one because this story plot was a linchpin on how everything else, how those dominoes fell, and because this one part was kind of weak, it made the rest of it not as strong. One of the issues I have with this show, which isn't like a small issue, and it's a good issue to have, is that this show asks a lot of hard questions. I mean, it asks its characters a lot of hard questions, puts them in really difficult situations, but sometimes the execution, I think, falls flat. Sometimes it doesn't answer those questions. Questions like, how do you win a war? How do you sacrifice lives? And it kind of just molds over with more sappy things, which it is intended for children, unlike this review, which is not. There's a really great moment that goes over just like how tyrants are created and how they rise to power. So I don't want to give this story that much crap for asking these questions and not answering them, because it at least has the balls to ask the question. There's a lot more unanswered questions in the Dragon Prince saga. It would have been nice to get a little bit more of those answered in this season. I don't think we really did. But story gets an 8.5 out of 10. That's on to emotion.
There is hope.
Even when the odds seem impossible.
There's pretty consistent, really good emotion all throughout. I never got tear jerky or anything. I never was really just all into the characters' emotions. They're really good emotions the characters were having. I understood it, I was empathetic towards it. It just didn't hit me in the feels that hard. I think Rayla and Callum on separate instances have really good examples of having great emotion, of dealing with their situation and how they feel about it. Really good at expressing it. So emotion gets an 8 out of 10. Next is on to action.
But we will fight back.
The action here is just as good as in season 2, and I think it's a little bit better. It picks up the epicness a little bit, not enough to my pleasure. There are more stakes here. There are stakes. That's what I was missing in season 1 and 2. So action is pretty good. Action gets an 8 out of 10. It's on to comedy.
Get ready to meet Elf Callum. All me best mates are trees.
The show does a really great job with comedy. Every single character has some comedic aspects to them. Even Varen has a pretty good moment. Claudia has good moments. And of course, our main protagonists have good comedic timing and good comedy. There are some stupid fart jokes in here. Whatever, take it or leave it. There's gonna be fart jokes in kid shows. But it knew when to put that comedy aside and to really get more emotional. Comedy gets an 8 out of 10. And that's on to acting.
We will face elves and dragons, and they will rain fire.
The acting, again, it's good. I do have a slight issue with the acting in this season. They reused a couple voice actors twice. Most noticeably, they reused the actress for Rayla and they reused the actor for Varen, and it was really noticeable, especially because Rayla's actress speaks with like a Scottish or Irish accent, and this other character she voiced also had the same accent, so it was just kind of jarring. I did love some of the new additions, especially once we voiced the dragons. They just had a really great feel to them. Just really loved hearing those dragons speak. And of course, Iroh, the guy who voices Ko the Face Stealer, he's just a joy to watch. And really, he becomes a little bit more, I don't know, nuanced. He has a little more character. He's a lot more talkative now. He's not as like secretly creepy. He's just kind of all the way kind of out there. And it's really interesting to see how his character kind of talks and perceives the world and just the way he talks to Varen. So I think it's an 8 out of 10. That's is on to directing.
Only way to stop this is to look evil in the face and say, no more.
First of all, I love the animation in the show. Season 1 animation wasn't great, and Season 2 was an improvement. But for some reason, Season 3, I don't know if it's because I'm getting used to it, but Season 3 I think is just really, really great animation. Like, this is definitely the best animation I think that any Netflix cartoon has shown. Even greater than Voltron. Even though Voltron has really great animation, I don't think it utilizes it that much oftentimes. And without a doubt, the music is absolutely terrific. Absolutely love the music. It's so epic in moments it needs to be epic, and quiet and sincere in other moments. Beautifully executed music. And the character designs are without a doubt the best character designs I think I've seen in anything really, like any movies, any television shows. The character designs here are completely on point. I love them. And I'll be remiss if I didn't mention the diversity in the show. They, I think, go out of their way to be diverse, and I absolutely love that, whether it's LGBTQ representation, it's Black representation. I mean, Black people do not get great representation in fantasy, especially elves. Like, the whole freaking city of Black elves, I freaking loved it. There's just something missing, I think, from the direction and the animation and the pacing and everything, is that I still don't get that just full feel of just epicness. And maybe I need to just lower my standards a bit, but I just feel like there's just something missing there. I don't think they do a great job of taking a story element and building that tension and growing on it and growing on it and growing on it. There's a certain thing that happened that they kind of go right into it, which is fine. I just think they could just do a better job of just growing that tension, which would just make those moments that those things actually do happen, make them feel even more triumphant, make them even a bigger moment. Anyway, directing gets an 8.5 out of 10. That brings the weighted average score to an 8.4 out of 10. Really good season. I would put it above season 1, but below season 2. Season 2 just has some really great moments, I think, especially in those flashbacks. All right, let me know what you think of Dragon Prince season 3, and be sure to look out for future videos. I have at least 2 videos planned around Dragon Prince coming out in the next couple of weeks or the next couple of days, so be tuned for that. And if you liked the video, please like, comment, and consider subscribing. And sincerely, thank you for watching. I'm out.